Praise be the Lord, my brothers and sisters, for I had a vision last night. The Lord had come to me, Jamie, and he said, my son, you're doing the right thing. Your podcast's amazing. And I shed a single tear, Jamie, and that tear was warm. It made me feel good inside. But he said to me, he goes, you have met the devil. And I was like, well, tell me who he is, and I will extract him from my life. He says, I can't tell you who he is because that's not the way it works, but I can give you clues to who that man is. And I said, well, bring it on. I'm ready. He says, although this man is large within a room, he is smaller than the average man. And I was like, oh, okay. What else have you got for me? And he says, he is feared for losing his hair. And I was like, oh, that doesn't lower it down either. And because of this, he will not take off his hat. And I said, no more. I know who this man is, and I've come here today, Jamie, to say, you are the devil. And I'm extracting you from my life. This will be the last episode of Two Men No Hope, because I will not be doing it no longer with your deceitful acts and your torments and your rubbing in my face of the word Argus, which I will refuse to say and turn away. And after that, I woke in a cold sweat, and I knew what must be done. How's it doing?
Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine if this is someone's first episode and they think they've gone into some gospel choir shit?
I'm practicing for when we get big and I start my own following. That's the beginning of my cult. I've already got the first chapter written in the pretend Bible that I will be burying. The first chapter will be, and there the man of Dan is born. I am the Messiah. No,
Jamie's the heathen.
James, that's the last chapter. Dan has vanquished the devil. No, I've been watching that Righteous Gemstones, and so I'm proper in that.
I was thinking there's got to be an influence behind this.
I was watching it before I came on. Fucking love it.
Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking, if this was me listening to a podcast for the first time, how long would I last into it if I thought it was God related?
I think this is like the 65th episode. I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay.
Nah, you get away with it, mate. You get away with it.
Of course I would.
Brilliant intro.
Although when I was at work practicing it, obviously not saying it out loud, like every time I went over it, my stomach went a bit funny. Like God was trying to stop me from doing it, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I will be doing this. I was like, people have made money from your name already, and I'm not making nothing. Just trying to make a few people laugh, Jamie.
Just a humble podcast comedian.
Well, I haven't really been doing much, so I thought I have to try and come up with some sort of intro. Although I was going to use it last week, and then something else happened.
What happened last week? Oh, the Argus Gate.
Yeah. When you started fucking heckling me, everyone thought it was really funny.
It's been the feedback from people this week. God, like, it's good to know that I'm not the only person on my ship. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's different because everyone up here agrees with me, so...
There's clearly a divide between Scotland and fucking England at the minute.
Well, a divide between me and you. But, yeah, no, but apart from... I've just been watching that. I haven't really done anything, to be honest. Weekend was pretty quiet. I went to they do a farmer's market at the beginning of each month.
Oh, yeah.
I went to that and immediately spent about £25.
On what? Like
exactly, Jamie. On
like
what?
Meat?
I bought some vegan quiche. That was pretty good, actually. Although it was really dense. And then I bought this, like, hillbilly jar of cider that was porn star martini flavoured.
Was it nice?
Yeah, that was right. Yeah, not bad, yeah. And then I bought a load of vegan cinnamon swirls. Also very dense. Why is everything vegan so dense? I felt
Probably
so full.
It's made with bullshit put together.
Yeah, there was like twice the ingredients there. It gave me I was very windy afterwards as well.
One thing I don't get is quiche. Like, I agreed with everything else you bought there, but the quiche, I'm not a fan of quiche, man, at all.
I can't remember what it was. Cauliflower, I think it was. Nah, I used to love quiche.
Mm.
It's something that I do actually miss. Like when it's like hot, a nice like salad, new potatoes, and a slice of quiche. Man, that was a fucking banging dinner back in the day.
I always remember it being on like buffets at parties and stuff, but don't really remember it ever being in my life other than that. Did I ever tell you about um, when my mum and dad were getting their garden done? They had like, do you remember it had like a deadline for my wedding?
Yeah.
And the geezer was supposed to get it done in 3 weeks. Took him 2 months, yeah, because he was working by himself and he was a total hippie, and he was like la-di-da running around the fucking garden. And the garden looks really good now, but this geezer took twice as long as he should have done, and my mum was panicking, thinking that it's not going to be ready for the wedding. And this geezer sat in his car every day and ate a full quiche out of the packet every single day. Lunatic. I was like, he's a serial killer. I was walking past one day and he was like, do you want me to let you in? And I was like, yeah. And he's got a whole quiche on his lap. He was like, here's the key. I was like, bro.
Power to it. That's how he did his gardening. When I worked at the co-op, they used to do like personal quiches that were like they were like a handful. I used to sometimes buy like them and eat that on my break.
Oh,
But that
really?
was like you know, like it wasn't even a third of what a fucking normal quiche size was.
Yeah,
because
because they're almost like pizza size, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like
These
quiche.
small ones were like fucking. They were nothing. You know, a few.
My
bites.
mum's dog once stole the quiche off him as well, and he took it back out my mum's dog's mouth and ate it.
That's dedication right there.
That's dedication to the quiche.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, I went around my mate. So like most, it seems so fucking old, but like most people my age, when you were growing up, getting a takeaway was like a novelty.
Mm.
You were like, oh fuck, I'm getting a takeaway. This is banging. Like it wouldn't happen ever again. So I went around my mates, who was an only child, fucking sport bastards, and his parents were like, oh, we're gonna get an Indian takeaway. Do you want to come? Do you want some? And I was like, fucking yes, bring it on. And we all got our own naan breads.
Yeah.
So like we're fucking chowing down upstairs in his bedroom, and I'm fucking eating our Indian. I'm like leaving my naan bread for the end because I'm like I'm just gonna fucking wipe everything up. Went to the toilet, come back, and my naan bread had gone.
No.
And because my obviously I didn't know back then, but sometimes I miss things, and I'm like, did I eat that? And I sat there.
You questioned yourself.
Yeah, and I was like, have I fucking eaten that? And I sat there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, and I said to my mate Liam, I'm like, I had naan bread there, didn't I? He was like, where did you leave it? And I was like, I think I left it on the bed. And then we looked round and there's the fucking dog with a packet. The dog had fucking scudded it. That little prick.
Fucker.
Yeah, I know. I've never been so fucking heartbroken in my life.
Rocco's done it to me a few times, man. I don't know whether I brought it up before, but me and Charlotte were making like a bolognese dish. And I've grated like a shitload of parmesan and had it put on the side because I have like one of them graters that opens up.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, it was on the side. Me and Charlotte carried on making the dinner. And I just was going to change the record on the record player. I turned, looked at Rocco. He's devoured about 3 times the size of him of cheese. And I was like, you're a dirty little bastard. He's licking it clean. What am I supposed to do from that point? I can't grate into that again. So I had to wash it all out, fucking grate some more cheese. I had to actually go to the shop to get more cheese. He'd ate that much cheese.
Dogs are like that. Like mum on countless times has like put her dinner down and come back and Chewie's run off with the main bit.
Mm.
Like just fucking.
Does make me laugh. My dog that I grew up with, I remember mum having a party and they put a load of Pringles on the table on a plate. And we were all sitting there and my dog, when I was growing up, his name was Prince, yeah? And Prince ran into the room, picked up the whole plate of Pringles and just fucked off with it up the stairs, isn't it? And no one noticed other than me, and I was a little kid. And I was like, he's got the Pringles. And at this, now thinking about it, my mum was pretty fucked up drunk. That's why she didn't notice, yeah? And she was like, what are you talking about, Pringles? I was like, the dog's got the Pringles. And then look, I spent the next like hour chasing him around as like a fucking toddler, trying to get it out of his mouth. And he was like, nah, bruv, they're coming with me. He used to sleep under my mum's bed. He took him under there and was like growling at me and shit, and it.
Fucking hell. Yeah, they get proper bite. Don't you fucking touch it.
Mm.
We're lucky that Chewie's got no teeth now. He can't do shit like that. He constantly licks his lips. Like, all
that
the
means they're
time.
stressed normally.
No, it's because he's got no teeth or anything. Like, he's just slobbering. So he's trying to lick it all back up. He looks like, you know, like when people have no teeth and they get that, like Popeye face, where it's all like...
Oh, yeah, like their face like caves in.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah.
He's got
really?
he's got like old man face.
Oh, no, poor Chewie.
But he's got teeth at the top and the back, at the back of his mouth. It's just all like, all of his front teeth are gone, so it doesn't... He's got some stability, but the front's all like saggy.
He looks like he's going to shout at you on a bus.
He looks... He looks a little bit like the old man's dog from Family Guy, you know, the pedophile.
Oh, yeah.
With the dog that's got his back legs don't work. Yeah, his face looks like that. I'll start going to him. Here, Chewie, here. Let's go see the paper boy. And Chewie's just licking his lips.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I went and saw Indiana Jones on Sunday as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it just made me laugh. Like they had no reason, like no they didn't even try and hide that he was an old man.
Yeah, they just let him play with it.
But I mean, because they had like little jokes and stuff in it about it. But like seeing a 70-year-old, oh, he's 80 in real life, but Indiana Jones is supposed to be 70.
Oh,
Seeing
right.
a 70-year-old man punch out a 25-year-old in one hit is just fucking funny. So funny.
Gotta
And
be.
then right at the beginning, he wakes up because he's asleep in his chair in his boxers. And I'm like, why are we seeing this old man body right now? Like, what's going on? And he's doing like the old man shuffle.
That's what I was just about to say. Did he have the same? Because when I went to see Elton John back last year, he had like this old man shuffle across the stage.
Yeah.
Like, it would look like you're letting your granny get up and walk across the stage. Did he have that old man shuffle in the film?
He did, yeah. Like his legs sort of like bow a little bit now.
No.
So like when
There's
he's
nothing
trying to
left.
run, you can tell that it's like he needs a bit to get going. And then he had his mate in it who was wearing a fez, and he was like fucking hunched. And like, you know, like when like the part of their body isn't catching up with their legs, he ran like that.
Yeah.
He was like, "Quick, Indy, across the street," and he. It's like two OPs like running across the street, and you're like, "Go and get him, Grandad."
I wonder whether he's done it because he purely needs money, or whether he wanted to do the final one.
I think he does it because I think he likes the films. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It was an entertaining film, but it was like the OAP's revenge.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this has to be the last one. Like
There
you
be
can't.
another one.
No.
I'm surprised they didn't like try to hand over the mantle, which is a normal Disney move.
Well, I can't say too much because obviously I don't want to put any spoilers in
Like
it.
his granddaughter or something. I bet there's a granddaughter.
But like obviously in the Crystal Skull, Shia LaBeouf was his son.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But
Is Shia
then-
LaBeouf in this one?
No, because Shia LaBeouf,
He's cracked up.
yeah, so they didn't have him back. So they sort of ended a few sort of like ways to keep it going. I think the best thing they could do is just leave it at that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Leave it as like a franchise in itself.
But
Crystal
then-
Skull was already like a wash, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the box office.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised they did bring it back, but I'm never
Well.
going to be turning it down. I'll always watch one.
Well, this is the thing though, right? Like Disney are fucking hemorrhaging money at the minute. Like their last 8 films bombed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I suppose
like,
they would have. Yeah,
like
yeah.
Thor bombed, Elemental, Little Mermaid. Like they all. I think when I saw the clip, this guy was talking about it. I think with all the films, they spent something like £2.5 billion or dollars, whatever it was, and with all 8 films, they only made back $1 billion. So they
That's
lost
mad.
1.1.5 billion on these movies. But the thing that gets me is that, like, when I went to see Indiana Jones, a trailer come up for the Haunted Mansion. You know, the one that Eddie Murphy did one. Disney's.
Oh yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. Why is there no new thought between anyone and Disney?
Yeah, there's a lot of remakes going on.
And
There's a
it's
lot of
all, and
remakes.
they all create it in a reason to put in, you know, different mixed races of people. It's not because they didn't like the film originally, even though Eddie Murphy's, you know, black.
Mm. That
But
was a
it's
brilliant
like,
film as well back in the
yeah,
day.
it was so. It's still funny now. I watched it a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, they brought in this one where they're throwing like CGI in it, and everyone in it's this and that. It's unnecessary. I watched a video of little coloured girl watching Little Mermaid, and she's singing in a rock, and then she turns around to her parents and she was like, "That's not Little Mermaid."
Yeah, because she would have seen the cartoon.
Yeah, and they were like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because she's white and she has red hair. She doesn't have dreadlocks." And they're like laughing, and she's like, "I'm not watching this. This isn't Little Mermaid." And I'm like, "Rest my case."
Yeah, 'cause it's for kids.
Yeah, but it's like even kids understand like why are you just remaking something I've seen 1,000 times? Like it's unnecessary.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Some
mean?
of them been good. Like the Lion King remake was good.
Oh,
The
I
live
hated
action
that.
Lion King remake was good.
I don't I don't think I've liked any of them. The Lady and the Tramp was crap. Dumbo was crap.
I didn't watch any of that.
Oh, Dumbo was the biggest pile of horse shit I've ever seen. And the thing is as well is that they've taken all of the music out.
That's probably why I liked it.
But that was the thing, like, who wants to watch Lady and the Tramp and don't hear like the Siamese cat song? That was my favourite.
I don't remember that. I have no
I'm
recollection of the
Siamese,
songs.
if we please. And they're knocking off all the vases and ripping all the furniture and stuff.
All right.
Oh, mate, you're a dickhead. But, like, that was the best thing. And then, obviously, you got, like, Alice in Wonderland. I thought they were shite. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which they're doing a second one for some reason, but that was shite.
I don't know why they're doing another Charlie and the Chocolate Factory again.
No.
What was a good Disney move was they made a remake of White Man Can't Jump, and that's quite a good film.
Oh, I
Jack
haven't watched
Harlow
it, but
in
I
it.
saw that, yeah. But then I wouldn't watch that either because the original was Woody Harrison and Wesley Snipes, which is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, but I think this is a good update version of it, if you know what I mean.
But I don't need it, Jamie. It's unnecessary in my life. It's money that could be spent somewhere else.
They could have
Yeah.
put that budget into fucking She-Hulk.
Yeah. Just drives me mad, you know what I mean? Like, all the people out there that want to write scripts, that want to be producers, that want to do this and do that. And all Disney are thinking is like, we've got this is ours. We have the script, we have everything. This is easy money because everything's already done.
Yeah.
So they just rehash it and make it
The
woke.
infrastructure's there.
Yeah.
The fan base is there. That's why, but on the other hand, like Apple and that are failing because they're trying to go too weird with their programs. Like sometimes you watch it. I've watched a whole series of like something, and I've enjoyed the series, but then there's people that have watched the exact same series as me, and they switch off as soon as it starts getting a little bit too weird for them. They're like, nah, because it's something totally new concept. Like they've come up with like Severance, Silo. There's like loads of stuff that's come out in the like past year.
Yeah.
I'm watching Idris Elba's Hijack or something. There's like 4 episodes of that out at the minute, and that's quite a good show, which is a bit different because it's not the normal Arabic hijackers or Russian hijackers, like British people hijacking a plane, and you're like,
All right.
the lack of motive other than money, which hasn't come up yet. I'm like, it's only got to be money. Like you can't think of British people being the bad guys nowadays. So I like the fact that it was a British gang of people taking over.
Yeah. Yeah, because everything's so predictable. Like, I was watching that From because you said that was really good, and I'm just like, I could have written this. Like,
I enjoy From, but they're trying their best to make it strange, but at the same time, there's a lot of plot holes.
yeah, no, I can. That's what I don't know why. I really like the Righteous Gemstones at the minute because it's just, it's clever. It's cleverly written, and you sort of know what's going to happen because it's like family dynamic, but it still throws in some dialogue that just throws you off, and it just I don't know. It's Danny McBride's writing in it. Because if you like Eastbound and Down and that, then you're going to be alright. But I don't know. I haven't really got a lot of time for TV anymore. Until
what are you doing if you're not watching TV?
Sleeping mostly, eating, sleeping. not
Eat
doing my
weird
podcast
air-fried
responsibilities.
And then go to bed.
It is what it is, Jamie. Going to the cinema all the time. Right. Enough waffling. I'm sure the listeners are bored enough already now.
Yeah, somehow we went into like a movie review week there, didn't we?
Well, we were just talking about what was going on. Hopefully it was entertaining enough for people not to turn off. Right. Even though I said I would, I forgot to write down my little speech, so I'm just going to make it up again. All the emails that have been sent in have been sent of their own choice and have been requested our opinions. Our opinions of our own, and please, they are just food for thought. They're obviously not gospel. Please do not follow them to a T. They're just there to give you a bit of peace of mind and give you a different opinion. If you are easily insulted by other people's opinions, we appreciate you making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you, so have a good day and fuck off. Any email that is sent in will be kept anonymous unless otherwise, just to protect you and ourselves. And everyone's emails will be kept private. They will not go anywhere else but to me and Jamie. We hope you enjoy everything, and thank you for sending your emails in. We really appreciate it. Right. Let's see. Our first email. Right. Hi, gents. Quick query for you both. I've been sleeping on and off with this girl in work. It was always agreed it was a bit of fun and that it was just something that had happened from time to time. I feel like it's back firming as a new female colleague has started, and I was the first in showing interest. The original girl has gotten very jealous, has sent a lot of abuse after nights out, etc. I really don't know what to do. I enjoy having friends with benefits, but I also don't want the drama as well. What do you think? Have you been in this position before? So he was casually sleeping with a colleague. A new woman has started, and he says show interest, but I think he's the first one to show, like, being polite. And the original girls got jealous.
That's happened a million times over, innit, with a lot of people. That's
not his fucking fault if he's trying to... Well, let's just say if he says showed interest, let's just say that he's tried it on with her as well.
Okay. At the end of the day, like, the initial thing was a casual thing, and it happens a lot. I've had it happen to me in the past where I'm having a casual thing, and as soon as a new girl comes into my life that would be more suited to me, and I start pursuing that instead, without totally finishing the casual thing, until you know where you've got to be at, you end up getting yourself into trouble, because the initial girl 95% of the time is all of a sudden going to want a relationship, even though they haven't wanted one for the past 6 months.
It's like me and the sharing, right? Like, because there was no one else, she was quite happy to be, but then all of a sudden...
That allowed her to pursue if she wanted to, but now the roles are reversed.
Yeah, and she's like, quickly get your claws in.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh when you were talking then. All I can imagine was the first time you hooked up with Charlotte.
Yep. Yep, 100%.
We all know that story because Jamie's told it a few times.
Yeah. It's happened to me other than that as well. Not with girls that I work with, but like, I've been in not a relationship. I've been like seeing someone casually, just having sex or whatever, and then we'd all be like going out as a big group, and then there would be a new girl introduced into the group, maybe a friend of someone else or whatever. And then if I on that night out with them try and pursue her, the initial girl that I was with would get pissed off at me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It's happened to me where I've been casual, and then the girl that I was getting with started getting on with like one of the guys that were in the group, and I got jealous over it. So it's just a natural thing for the person to get jealous, I think.
I think it takes a very. I think I've said before. It takes a very special person for sex just to be sex.
Yeah.
Like I've been in both situations. Like I think I've said before when I worked at the airport, that's what made me leave. Is because it was a casual thing, and then she in front of me started going with someone else who she now was a kid with. So that was it's like it was a fucking fling. They end up together, but yeah, it's very difficult just to keep all that thing separate, and especially at work. Like I've said many times, and never listened to myself, that it's a bad idea to do stuff at work.
Yeah,
even though it's the easiest place to
meet people.
Meet people, yeah.
And you spend prolonged time around people, which you wouldn't get to know them half as much if you were to like meet them on fucking line or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. To solve your problem, the best thing you can probably do is speak to the original girl and then just call it off.
Yeah.
You're still going to get some like fucking abuse, but I think you do the right thing by saying to her, it's over. Like it was just a sex thing. We had a really good time, but now that it's gone to this point and you're starting to abuse someone else, I don't want anything to do with it, and I'm calling it off now. So she knows that it's never going to happen again, but she will still abuse that woman. It'll make her feel better.
And she will probably tell her how small your dick is, and
yeah,
and the usual stuff that goes along with like salty breakups. But do what Dan says and like emphasize the fact that it was a casual thing, and it always was a casual thing, and it was like on both parts a casual thing.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, because someone else is involved, the narrative's getting changed.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to come out of it looking like the arsehole.
Don't do it at work. Don't do it at work.
Yeah, do not do it like
just walk in on your shift and be like, "You're right, love, never having sex again," and then walk off and clock in.
See you later.
Yeah. No, be nicer about it. Yeah, you've got to the point now where she's shown like what she's gonna be like. So you're not gonna go with that. But yeah, if you end it, it will just, she might even get a little bit like trying to get with someone else to try and piss you off, which will then in fact work better for you because she'll forget about you.
Yeah. Problem solved there.
Like a payback thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, I've done it myself where I've been her in that situation where I was so happy for it just to be casual because I was wanting to do whatever I wanted outside of it.
Yeah.
But then when someone come in and threatened me, I then turned into like a lunatic. And I was like, I had a whole beef with this guy for like 6-7 months, and he didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I was slagging him off, calling him all the names under the sun, saying that he's done this, this, and that, and he has no idea. And we're still friends today. So.
Yeah, men and women are both as bad as each other. Yeah. But I think the best thing for you is just to, well, not come clean, but like tell her. And if she's doesn't want to listen or anything, that's, not your problem. But as long as you said to her straight, this ain't going to happen anymore. And that's the most annoying thing, right? Is that if this new girl, nothing pans out, you now can't go back to the other one because you're going to cut it off. But that's life.
So that's
easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
Easy come, easy go. That's so like degrading to everyone.
Plenty of fish in the sea.
It's like finding a penny, isn't it, on the floor? Easy come, easy go. You know what I mean? As it is.
I love the way you're comparing casual sex to a penny.
That's what I'm saying. It's so degrading, isn't it? Easy come, easy go. It's like, it is what it is. But, at the end of the day, everyone takes their pants off with the same hands, don't they? Yeah, so hopefully it goes well for you and things calm down. I'd say to you, don't sleep with anyone at work, but I would be a hypocrite if I'd say that to you. So, just be careful. So this is a previous emailer in, he had the story where he went to meet someone. He was talking on MSN. He had 2 sips of something and went to go in for a kiss and slipped over and chipped his tooth. That's not ringing any bells to me, but
He was at like some gig or something.
yeah. So he says, so glad you guys enjoyed my story. So as the warm weather sets in, I'm thinking of things to do at the weekend that doesn't involve just sitting in a pub garden. Any suggestions? I'm never much of an outdoors type, but I can't get drinking for 2 months straight. Well, can't you?
You can't get what? Sorry.
He can't do 2 months of straight drinking because like sitting in beer gardens.
Oh right, yeah.
This is a new thing for me. Like with being like with Sabina, I'm not much of an outdoors person or anything like that. But like I quite enjoyed going to the farmers market, which is also an old person's thing. So like we were looking at like food fairs. There's gonna be one in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
See, because I'm a big food. I'd love to go to the food thing. You could do anything like car shows. That's quite a good thing to do in the summer.
Yeah, car shows are good. Food fairs are good. If you're anywhere near London, they do a Taste of London every year, and you can go to like the morning one or the evening one, and they also do one in the winter and one in the summer, and they're brilliant to go to. And that's like a whole day ticket, and you're there all day doing like tasters. Although that does involve a lot of drinking, so.
I think everything that we're going to suggest involves a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Because when I got to that farmer's market, I was trying all the different ciders before I bought one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's difficult, isn't it?
I mean, it depends where you are, right? Like, because I'm in Scotland, so when the weather's nice and stuff, I've got places that I can go for a walk. I've got like the village over. You can go in the woods and go for this nice walk, and it has like a waterfall and stuff in it. I always take the dog.
Mm.
So it really depends on what area you're in, but like there's always like I quite like a car boot as well. That's I feel like an old person. Car boots and food fairs. And it also depends on your friends, like because you could go play basketball.
Yeah.
With like your mates, so you can play football and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do a lot of basketball in the summer. We also do. Because the dog is the best thing that's happened to me as regards to keeping myself busy at a weekend, doing that type of stuff. Like I'll go we'll Google and find like a lake, and go walk around the lake and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rather than because I could easily become a person where I'm at the pub Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or going for meals and drinking, and I could easily be that person. So the way to avoid it is doing stuff like that, and I think what else have we been doing?
So even if you go for like if you go camping, you're gonna take beer with you. I would take cider.
If you go down
with
to
me.
the beach, it's very alcohol.
Yeah, barbecue, alcohols.
But no, there is other ways for people to like. You don't have to participate in them type of things when you're there, do you?
I would.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that is the problem.
No, if you wanted to, everything can have a drink. You don't have to take the fucking drink with you. But no, there's always something on in the summer, innit? There's always something on. So that you just got to get on like local sites and things like that to look it up.
Yeah, because I found in my local town, I was missing loads of like events because I wasn't part of like the right Facebook groups and stuff like that. And now that I am, there's like something every fucking weekend going on. Even if it's something as little as like I took Charlotte's nan to a flower show and stuff like that because that's what she'd be interested in. So there is stuff that's going on all the time. You just don't necessarily know about it.
When did you go to the flower show?
Like the last weekend I was off, so the weekend before last.
The weekend where your hay fever was really bad.
Yeah, I was blind.
You went to a flower show?
Totally blind, Dan.
Do you think
My
those two are
eyes
connected?
were sealed shut.
Do you think those two are connected, Jamie? Flowers and hay fever?
That's when. Do you know I told you about the weekend I nearly killed myself overdosing on the fucking tablets?
Yeah.
That's that weekend.
Dickhead. You're as bad as my mother. She goes to me, like, my mum's got a load of the intolerances that I have. And she goes to me the other day, I had to run to the toilet. And I was like, what did you eat? She goes, oh, nothing. I just had some quiche. And I was like, egg and cheese. She goes, no, it couldn't have been that. But I did eat some chocolate. I was like, what? That's got milk in it. And she was like, no, I'm normally okay. I'm like, so you had milk, egg, and cheese, Ma? Well, there's 3 things you can't have. And you wondered why you ran to the toilet.
Well, I was keeping Charlotte's 89-year-old grandmother happy, so
I'm sure she was
it
happy
meant
when
having
you
a little bit of a meltdown in the field
when you were driving her home and you couldn't open your eyes.
Yeah. Well, luckily I weren't fucking driving. Put it that way.
Oh, okay. You just put your sunglasses on to hide the pink eye.
I had my sunglasses on the whole time, and did they help? Did they fuck?
Oh no!
Did they fuck? It was so upsetting. I was like, she was saying to me, "Oh, why don't you go over there and get some like barbecue food that they're doing over there?" And I was like, "If I go over there, I'm gonna have a hay fever attack as I walk over." So I'm just gonna stand still because I'm in like an aerated area at the minute.
And you're like, your stomach's rumbling, and you're like, "No, I'm okay. I'm not really that hungry."
But it was one of them typical. It was what I would be called like a quintessentially overly British small village thing.
Yeah, flower show. Yeah,
and I've never felt more out of place in my life, being in like a towny type of guy with fucking covered in tattoos with a snapback on, and they're all standing there with like tweed jumpers over their fucking shoulders and shit. Do you know what I mean? It was fucking weird.
Oh, fuck no. Sounds so uncomfortable.
And when one of them was working the barbecue, he was like, I've never used this grill in my life. I've never used this grill in my life. I was like, oh my God, how posh is this geezer?
The mansplaining Jamie just goes, get out of the way, Gramps. Grabs hold of the spatula.
Get me the burger.
Flipping burgers in front of everyone. Everyone's like, woo!
And he's like, the left-hand side of the grill, that's for the vegans. I was like, fuck off.
Brilliant. Yeah, so there's a few examples. Like I said, the best thing you could do is get on your local sites and things like that to find things that are on around you. And you'll find some interesting stuff that you never thought you'd go to or be interested in. It's just something different. It's different than sitting in a beer garden. You could always end up there, which I would.
Yeah, you don't have to spend all weekend
there. Right, so this is another previous email in. The last one he sent was, he took our advice and taken a break from partying, and he hasn't drunk any alcohol since holiday break. I remember him. So he says, I hope you're both well. I know Daniel has been absent for the past week. I hope this doesn't mean anything too bad. He's referring to when I was sick. So it was extremely bad. And I still can't 100% trust my fart still. But I'm back. I have been back for a few weeks. So I'm not going anywhere. It's okay. No one needs to worry. Says, I have a question for you both. I've been in a thing with someone and I waited for a long time and did a lot of chasing. But when it comes to the sex after all the wooing and effort was terrible and disappointing. I don't know whether I built it up too much in my head or whether I expected too much, but she seems to just lay there almost unfazed by the whole act. Not sure where to go from here. Thanks. I had someone like this. And I used to use the expression, it's like having sex with a dead fish.
Mm.
Like you've just pulled her out of the water, and she just lays there.
Yeah.
And you're like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like you put it on yourself straight away, which this guy has.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in have sex as soon as possible to know whether you fucking work in a relationship. Because if you're not working and it's not doing it for one of you, then you can't keep going. Oh, we can try something different. If you're not got no connection sexually, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna last long.
She could be just inexperienced.
Yeah, which is a conversation they can have, and be like, look,
That's an incredibly awkward conversation. They're like, I'm all for being open and honest, but saying to someone, "Why do you just lay there like a plank?"
well, you wouldn't put it that like. You wouldn't put it like that. If it was me, I'd go in and I'd be like, look, I feel as though you're not that into it as much as I am. Is something going on? And then if there is, it might take a few probes to figure out what the fuck's going on, because you know what people are like, they don't want to open up straight away. But I've always made it my utmost important thing to get sex out of the way as quickly as possible, so then I know whether we're compatible in that way. And I think sometimes you're just not. You can get along brilliantly, and you're just not compatible sexually.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just thinking myself, I was like, you're like laying on top of her and you sit up, you start rubbing your hands together. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just getting the paddles out to resuscitate you. What the fuck are you doing, love? Like, where have I just dragged you out from that you're thinking about? Like, you know what I mean? You're on another planet or something. I'm giving you all my best moves and you're laying there. How am I supposed to do it?
But then when it was read out to me, what I imagined was, do you know, in the in-betweeners where Matey Boy gets on top and he's just moving up and down in like in a forward motion.
Oh, using his toes?
Like yeah. And she's just like, what the fuck is going on?
I'd like to think that everyone is capable of having good sex. I think it's just inexperience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all to do with like the people before and stuff like that. But Jamie's right. If you use the right words and try and like obviously there is something between you two, like you've been wooing each other and stuff like that, and she might just be overwhelmed with it's finally happened. Trying to be positive,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't just like cut it off. I mean, you put a lot of time and effort in it, and she obviously thinks of something as well. So I would agree with Jamie and put it delicately, yeah. And maybe try and do some massage and try and like loosen her up.
Yeah, get her more into the mood before.
Yeah. Because we don't know what your moves are like. You might just be fucking jackrabbiting. Like she's turned around and your fucking clothes have disappeared, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, it's business time, love. It's happening."
There's a guy I know. There's a guy that I know that I was having a conversation with him and his missus when we were drunk at a party once, and she was like, he literally just fucks me for 2 seconds and that's it, he's done. And I'm just like, what, there's no foreplay, nothing? And she was like, no, there's nothing, there's just 2 seconds and he's done.
We've all been there,
and
mate.
I'm standing there looking at him, I'm like, mate, you need to fucking fix up, otherwise she ain't going to last too long with you. And then he was like, I don't know what to do about it, I don't know what to do. I was like, foreplay. But no,
we've all been there, man. Don't you worry. I've had a couple one and dones. It's embarrassing, but it happens.
Oh, well, it definitely happens.
It definitely happens.
Happens. You soon find out about it at the end of the relationship as well.
But yeah, no, speak to her and see how it goes. If that's the way she is, then if you ain't gonna have fun, there's no point continuing it on, and that's horrible. But you know, that's part of a relationship. Otherwise, you're just friends, and you.
Yeah. I've done it where we've had sex and then both of us are just like, nah, this ain't gonna happen.
No.
And then we still existed in the same friendship group, but it just was weird after that.
Yeah, it always, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fun email, though. That was a good one.
Going back to what we were talking about cinemas earlier. Cineworld can fuck off, bruv. Because they literally have taken the piss out of my life. I've been charged for 3 different Cineworld Unlimited accounts for the last 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, on 2 different bank accounts, Dan. And then when I called up to rectify it, they said they're going to charge. They will give me like a certain amount of months free, and I'll get a refund. I was like, okay. When I went to book the other day to go to see The Flash, it was like, oh, your account is invalid or something. So I was like, what? So then I called him up again, which pisses me off in the first place because it's 2023. Why is there not a live chat? This is why you're going down the pan, Cineworld, because you ain't got a fucking live chat.
See, I'm the opposite. I'd rather speak to someone.
No, Dan.
I hate
You also like
chat.
to go to car boot sales, Dan. So
different world, mate. Apparently, those many years between us is a big difference, isn't it? I'm starting to see.
And so I called him up, and basically the one account that I have the actual physical card to,
Yeah.
they cancelled that one. So they've left me with this random one that I don't have a card to. That's to my old address, so it's fucking years old. And I was like, have I been paying it all that time? He was like, no, it would have reactivated or something. I was like, what? So what is going? I said, cancel everything, and then just give me a new card. And he was like, okay. So he cancelled everything, give me a new card. I got the temporary little thing come through, the email thing.
Yeah.
And then when I was at Cineworld yesterday, they were like, oh, your account's not active. And I'm standing there with people I haven't been to the cinema before with, so they're just standing there looking at me. I'm just like, bruv, I'm going to kick off in the middle of this fucking Cineworld if they do not get me on this. Like, I've got the ticket. The ticket is booked. So how can it not be active? You fucking idiots.
So what, did they just let you in?
Yeah, he was a gormless little twat with like fucking 7 colours in his hair. I was like, if he don't let me in, I'm going to beat him up.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, our cinema just opened an IMAX.
All right.
And I'm like, fucking sweet. I got like, I assumed I'd have to pay extra on my Limitless. But, you know, that's the thing. So I was like, oh, I might go see Indiana Jones in IMAX. Yeah. It's an extra £5 for me.
Really?
Yeah. For a normal person to go without a Limitless card, it's £20.
Yeah, I think it's only like £3 something for me, but maybe you're on a lower tier than me.
No, because I'm Odeon, I'm not Cineworld.
Ah, right.
But I was like, 20 quid for a fucking... And then I was saying to my brother, I was like, you don't have to sit in IMAX. But as we were walking down to the screening and all the posters are there, every film now is filmed for IMAX.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not paying monthly for a fucking card, which then I have to pay an extra £5 every fucking time I want to go to the cinema. Mm. So no, I'll go see like one film in IMAX maybe every 3 months or something.
This is why the cinema is going down the pan.
Yeah.
Because they do stupid shit like this. If Cineworld didn't make it so difficult for me to get in contact with them, then I would have known that and do you know the only reason I knew? So I would have been paying that forever. £18 a go times 3, yeah?
Yeah.
I would have been paying that forever. The only reason I found out is because I was trying to find a utility bill because I was getting a check done at work. And that's how I fucking found out. And when I look back, they've been charging me since fucking April. Not even February.
I wonder why all of a sudden it fucking started.
Dickheads, man. And then he's acting like I'm a dickhead. I'm like, I ain't got 3 accounts. I said, I've got 1 card, mate.
Have you got the black card?
No, I've got the red card.
Oh, because I remember I had a Cineworld card when I was in Luton for fucking ages, right? Ages. Never missed a payment, not once. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts getting these black cards. Like, if you've been a member for a certain amount of time, you just got given one. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. Like, why haven't I got one? We had this card longer than any of you. Go to my account. I missed a payment. They cancelled my account. I stopped going to Cineworld after that. Pricks.
Mate, I wish it was that simple. At least I wouldn't be paying the cunts.
So
I couldn't believe it.
So what? It's a tier system now.
In 2 months. What was that?
So it's a tier system now. So like,
yeah. So people in Luton pay like £16 a month. I pay £18 a month because of where I live.
Fuck off. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pricks.
And then people up north pay like £12 a month because of where the fuck they live. Because I was trying to see if I booked for like Northern Ireland,
how much you would pay.
How much I'll pay. It was like £12. I was like, you're a cunt.
That's mental.
I'm gonna go and get it delivered to a cousin.
I thought Cineworld, like, they're going under anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, that's why they're doing this to me.
Yeah.
Stealing my money.
Right. So this is a story. This isn't a question, but it's a fucking cracking story. So I'm going to try and not fuck it up.
Right.
So he says, yes, my yes, my G's. Please keep me anonymous for this one. I was listening to your embarrassing dating stories, and I have one that will be up there with them. So I went on a show pilot, very like first dates, but it was for people who are a lot more nervous than normal. I brought a new blazer and some cream chinos to go with. After trying the outfit on, I could see my gut was hanging over, so I decided to wear some of my sister's Spanx and see if it helped my figure a bit. It worked, but the whole area was tight and numb. I proceeded with the date, and it was going well. Where my bottom 3 buttons of my shirt pinged away once I sat down. So that was embarrassing enough, but I phased through it like nothing had happened. But I had also taken some Imodium earlier as my stomach was bubbling.
Bad
and
idea.
And when the buttons released, so did a small amount of shit from my backside. I thought at the time I got away with it, but I made my excuses to go to the bathroom. So later the date ended and the girl said she would rather just be friends. But the studio gave us all takes of the final edit once it was completed. To my horror, when watching it, is that when I thought I'd got away with it all, I didn't. The mic picked up the buttons popping, and when I got up to go to the toilet, you could see the shit stain on the back of my cream chinos. And you also saw my date looking and giggling. Safe to say, I'm glad the pilot didn't take off and never made it into the mainstream, or I would have never lived it down. Moral of the story is black trousers and no Imodium. Hope this gives you a giggle. Imodium, Jamie, that's your horror fucking.
Oh,
I want to see this pilot so bad. I emailed it and said to him, I was like, I want to see it. I wonder if he's still got it or he destroyed and burnt it.
That's amazing that they get given a fucking. I suppose they would, wouldn't they? If it never makes it to air, they'd be like, "Oh, here you go."
Yeah,
But,
my mum was on the telly. She was on Selling Houses with Amanda Lamb.
Oh yeah.
And they send you the episode on a disc to keep.
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's good to know. But yeah, that is a fucking that's a humdinger. Like you you just gotta like accept that as a faction in your life and just like put that disc away and not worry about it.
I would hold on to it until I'm like 40, where I'm like, I'm not that bothered anymore. I've like met my wife and all that, and then I would just show everyone. I'd be like, you never guess what happened to me when I was younger.
I agree. Fucking the beige chinos are a bad fucking choice of clothing. And do you remember the first time I went and got my tattoo done? My first tattoo from the guy that we both of us went to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing a pair of beige chinos then, yeah.
Which tattoo on your arm?
Yeah, it was the very first one I got from him. The cross on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing it, and we were talking and having like, as you do with a tattooist, having like a talking absolute shite. Because as soon as I get tattooed, I don't stop talking. And he knocked the black ink straight over the front of my my bright yellow chinos, and I had like a huge black ink stain, and I was supposed to be going to a fucking barbecue later that day.
Fucking hell! Did he give you money off for that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he gave me quite a bit of money off, but it was like I remember him being so embarrassed because obviously that was the first time I'd come to him, and he was like thinking, "Oh fuck, I fucked up. I'm not going to get him back." But he did. I ended up going back to him, but that was the last time ever that I bought yellow chinos.
Chinos went out of fashion. I feel like you can still buy them, but I haven't. I went for a little chino phase, and I haven't bought any in ages.
Yeah, I think probably around that time. Must have been around that time. Been about 5-6 years ago. No, even longer than that. Before I was married.
Don't get me wrong; they're comfortable, but I don't know.
Jeans.
Just seem to fucking. I've gone more jogging bottoms.
Yeah, but there's more formal events then. You can't be going to jogging bottoms to like a formal event, can you?
Don't know. It just shows me off well.
You can't be going to like someone's 75th birthday. Your fucking cock's out.
It's not out. It's just present.
It's on show. You got fucking Sabina walking around with putting her fucking glass in front of it all the time.
I was like,
look.
I was like having a shower and then I don't put boxes on underneath them, and then I go to like a trip to Asda and I just walk around with my basket, acting like the fucking top dog. You can see my bulge.
You're basically peacocking around fucking Asda. That's what you're doing right there.
Hey, it's either me or it's the fucking weirdos wearing their pajamas. At least I've got
Yeah.
jogging bottoms on. You know what I mean?
That does upset me. It upsetted me since we were in retail that people think it's acceptable. Think that it's acceptable to go out in public in like patterned pajamas. Like you are a fucking animal.
And your dressing gown and some like slipper socks.
Yeah. Just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? At least put a tracksuit on.
If I'm wearing like a onesie, I'll put jeans over the top of the onesie so it looks like the top's a jumper. And I'm wearing jeans and not on the bottom.
But at least you made an effort.
I've done it a couple of times there. Yeah, it just looks like a fucking jumper, doesn't it? I couldn't imagine, like, when my mum was on the telly, they asked me if I wanted to be in it, and I just straight away was like, nah. Not even fucking...
I remember that. I forgot totally about that until you said it. But
yeah, because we were trying to move to Scotland and sell the house, and they were like, oh, if you get on the telly... It was a complete and utter scam. They didn't have anyone waiting to look at houses. Complete scam. But I couldn't do it. I've always said to people, I'm like, oh, you know, if you were on Come Dine With Me, because I love that show, like, what would you cook? But I couldn't do it. Like, I just fucking... It just seems so awkward and uncomfortable. Especially dating.
Dating would be difficult for me because, like, before being with Charlotte, I never did like the formal dates ever.
Right.
So it took quite a lot of learning, and I was young at the time. But if it was like me now, post Charlotte, I still would be like shit because I get so nervous in situations like that. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like even in job interviews and that, I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Come dine with me, I could do because I would be blagging it. I would be trying to get myself onto a TikTok.
Well, you'd be like really aggressive and be like, you guys are in my fucking home, you won't eat my fucking food, get the fuck out.
It's like Jamie's attempting to make his famous chicken wings and you just see me throwing fucking chickens across the fucking kitchen.
Air fried chickens. Once again, Jamie is using his air fryer. I wonder how Jamie's going to do his dessert in his air fryer.
I would do my best to have like the best monologues as well. I'd be like, turn to the camera and be like, you didn't see this. As far as you know, I've been preparing this since 1 p.m.
You'd be like that guy that ordered the takeaway and had it come through the window.
Yeah, mate. That would be me. That would be me.
But no, I would be this. I make a rule. I've never ever taken Imodium because my stomach's always been so bad. I'm like, when it wears off, I don't know where I'm going to be, and I don't want to know what's going to happen. Yeah,
it's not a good idea. It is not a good idea. As we've heard in previous episodes, I did it for festivals and stuff like that, and every night out that I went on, I did it, and I was always prepared the next day that it's going to be carnage, and then ended up happening like where I had to rush home in taxis, and when I was in Malaga one year, I had to rush home back to the hotel room. I was blind drunk, didn't know where the fuck I was. Everyone was asking me where I'd gone, and it's because I had to go back and fucking shit because the shit was coming. It was like a river.
Oh, mate. Don't even talk to me about rivers. The yeah, so all those combinations, man, fucking what the fuck? I feel bad for you, man.
Poor choice. Lack of experience. Put it down to that.
But well done for going on the fucking telly, man. Like I said, I'd be shit scared. I'd be fucking that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is a lesson learned, and it is a funny story to go with it. So,
I'm surprised it didn't get picked up, because First Dates is massive.
Yeah, I wonder what their edge was. Maybe they didn't have one. Maybe they were just like, oh, this is too much like First Dates, and we're just...
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
But, thank you for the story. We really appreciate it. We'll make that. I think I read that okay, so we'll probably try and make that into a TikTok or something and get it out there. Stay strong, man. Stay strong. Right, so this is a previous emailer in as well. He had previously messaged in about dating problems. So he says, from start to finish, episode 63 was fucking hilarious. From Jamie telling you that no drinking on Annie bikes after it was a wives' tale, to you talking about alcoholic neighbours hiding their wine bottles. I couldn't think of what you were talking about for Save My Life, and Jamie had to explain to me what we were talking about. So I don't know if that was the antibiotics, but I definitely had a bit of a blackout moment. But that was a good episode. I think the last few episodes have been fucking dynamite, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Not like all of our episodes aren't dynamite, Jamie, but there have been some special ones lately. So you'd be glad to know I've stumbled into dating situation organically, and I'm not putting too much pressure on it and letting each day come on at a time. Best way to do it. I'm going away with the family at the end of July to Rome, and I was thinking by then we would have been dating for just over a month. Would it be too much for me to buy her a gift while out there? Any thoughts? Welcome as always. I don't think that's a fucking bad idea. Your first holiday.
Yeah, don't get anything extravagant. Just get her something like, oh, while I was in Rome, I got you this, or like some chocolates or whatever they do, as regards to like a party piece type thing that you get from there. Because when I was in Rome, I don't really remember too much like shops that you get like the usual tap from. So I think, yeah, it's definitely worth doing, as long as you don't... If you come back with, like, a fucking Rolex watch, she's going to be like, who the fuck's this guy?
I'd be like, marry me.
Yeah.
Fucking Rolex.
Go one way or the other,
you've been
she'll be
hiding that
scared
money.
away, or she'll be all up in your grill.
Yeah. Be like, where's your money been hiding? Take me out on a date. Yeah, no, I think, getting something to just say... If anything, it shows that you were thinking of her. You'll probably obviously be talking to her anyway. Mobile phones and that. But yeah, just try and make it like something that she would like. So obviously you're showing that you know, listening, you know that she'd like it, and just be like, oh, I need like something like this, so I got you this. Gifts are always welcome, you know what I mean? Like, it's never a bad time to give a gift. It just depends on the gift that you're giving.
Yeah,
I think that's the
I
main.
agree with that. I think you could easily. I do it all the time. I've done it the whole relationship with Charlotte. I go way over the top with every single gift, and then she starts getting upset because if it's like an anniversary or something, I've gotten her like a lot more than what she's got me, and then she's like, "Oh, well, I feel like a dickhead now," and it happens every time. And I say I'm not going to do it again. Next time it comes around, Jamie's bought 5 gifts that are way too expensive.
He's just planning on the rest of that year of fuck ups. He's like, well, I did buy you more presents for the anniversary, so
the next time I get drunk and don't come home,
damage control.
This will be that gift for that one.
Just on all the cards, it says sorry for what I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
She's like, what does that mean? Well, when it happens, love, you know it. I know what's going
Instead of IOUs, I give her you owe me's.
But I think you probably get some good stuff in Rome.
Definitely, there's quite a few nice places around there.
Yeah, get a few little bits. Doesn't have to be. I think when I went to Canada, and I was talking to a girl at the time. I think I bought her a fridge magnet.
Yeah, can't go wrong with a fridge magnet.
Yeah, she always going about how she never had any fridge magnets. So I bought a fridge magnet.
There you go, and there's thought behind it as well. Then you didn't just get it.
No, and do you know what pissed me off more? Is that we stopped talking, and I haven't got a fucking fridge magnet. Fucking bought a fridge magnet for her and thought to pick me up one for myself.
Oh, mate.
So she's got my memories of Canada. I haven't got one for myself. Arsehole. But let us know what you picked up. That was like a short answer because obviously you can't go into too much detail. But let us know how your holiday goes, and congratulations on your relationship. Once you take the pressure off, you know what I mean, things will happen. It's when you're trying to push it too much is when it's on your mind all the time and it makes you nervous and shit. So we're glad you sorted that out. And let us know what you picked her up, and we'll talk about that. Oh, it's the first responder.
Oh, right. Paramedic, wasn't he?
No, it just says first responder.
Well, we assumed he was a paramedic or something.
Yeah, I just straight away said paramedic. Yeah, he wasn't sure about his job, but then he's talking about speed dating. Thanks for cheering me up on Monday. It was well needed, and I'm greatly enjoying your dynamic, boys. Yeah, except the last episode. Winding each other up. The neighbour story in the last episode was hilarious as well as your antidotes. I have a neighbour who is trying their best to become my friend, but I do not want to get too involved with people close to home. What do you guys think I can do short of hiding inside my home? That's the thing right nowadays. It's like there's no neighbour dynamic. It's either you either talk to them or you don't talk to them.
Yeah, I think COVID kind of reactivated a lot of people's neighbourhood spirit, if you know what I mean. And then, like, all of a sudden, people doing Jubilee parties and all that shit. And I don't know, it's difficult. If I was in that situation, I'd find that difficult as well, because I'm not an overly open person as regards to... I don't, like, every time I've watched, like, a Channel 5 documentary on neighbours that are like nightmare neighbours and stuff, like, there's a whole programme on it, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
The nightmare neighbour always starts off, oh, we had a really good friendship at the beginning, we were going around each other's houses and having wine, etc, etc. Then someone says something that's upset the other one, and then they're beating each other up on their fucking driveways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. It's hard to keep that line, even though there is a line between your fences. But then
I know people that have really good friendships with their neighbours, and they become like new mates, basically.
I couldn't imagine it. Like, I say hello to my neighbours.
Yeah.
That's about it. I've spoke to him once about when the guy was bringing my bins in, the bin man.
Is that still happening?
He brings my bins in, yeah. I see him every week now on the camera. Now I think to myself, I wish I knew where he was, because I'd send him a card, like put a card through his door and say thanks. Because he puts them back, and then he closes the gate and everything.
Yeah, see, that's neighbourly.
Yeah, I'm not going to invite him to my house.
I think there's a difference between being neighbourly and being overly friendly, and some people don't know that line.
To me, I think to myself, if a neighbour wants to have a proper full conversation with you, it's because they want to know what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah, like when I've never had so much attention when we got the aircon put in, because for the American listeners, because I know aircon's common over there, but for the American listeners, no one has aircon in the UK. Very rarely do you get it. It's becoming more popular as time goes on because it's getting cheaper, but a lot of people don't get it, and obviously we're the first on the fucking street to get it here, and they goes, every time I get in and out my car, just like, I bet you're feeling cold now at night, aren't you? That's fucking How are you feeling at night? Is it nice and cool in the house now? I'm just like, mate, like, it's brilliant, but I don't want to discuss everything with you and how much it costs and everything like that. Like, see you later.
They want an invitation to come in and try it. That's what they want.
Oh, mate. When I got the new car, they almost was in my car.
Oh, were they?
Like, bro. Yeah, they were like, look, because it's got like this like panel across on the dashboard.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them, and they're like, as I get out of the car, they're like standing next to me so they can see the dashboard. And I was like, oh, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. I'm like, mate, all right. I've just finished work. Like, get away from me. But at the same time, like, it's nice to have a friendly relationship with them. I can't imagine having a bad relationship. If we had a bad relationship, that would be fucked up, man.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, you don't
so you don't want to upset people as well.
No, because that's where you live. You don't want to end up, fucking burning eyes in the back of your head when you walk into your...
No, exactly.
So it's hard. It's like there is no easy way to keep boundaries. I think the best thing you do is have small conversations and then like enforce that you need to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're keeping it short by talking to them and then just saying, "Oh, sorry, I've really got to be somewhere." So they still feel that you're talking to them, but you're saying and you're setting those boundaries to say that, like, I can't stand here forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people don't understand social cues as well, and like,
no.
they would stand and talk to you and bring up new subject after subject after subject, unless you cut it short.
Yeah. Yeah, because people
And
think to yourself, like, if you're leaving your house, I haven't seen you and I've left my house to talk to you, mate. I've left my house for a purpose.
yeah, I'm
You
going
know what I
somewhere.
mean?
Yeah.
You just come out and be like, oh, I was just standing in my kitchen in my pants looking through the window and I saw you'd come out, so I quickly put some trousers on. I thought I'd come out and have a conversation with you. Nah. You know what I mean? I need bog roll. I need a shit, mate. I'm getting in my car. I'm going to Asda and I'll be back.
Yeah. And it's like they are, even though they live next to you, they are strangers. Like unless you are particularly overly forward yourself, it's an awkward situation to be in. Like to be making the small talk with people, like because the only thing you have in common is the geography of where you live in.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, as far as you know at that point.
Yeah.
And there's been a few times, not when I lived here, but in the flat, where I thought someone's a complete arsehole, and I would avoid them like the plague, but they would talk to me, and I'd be like, yeah. As I'm walking up the stairs, like, yeah. As I'm closing the door, I'm still talking to them, and I fucking lock the door.
Yeah, I do that. I said to you before, didn't I, about the fucking overly friendly Domino's delivery guy. And I'm like, holding burning hot pizza. I'm like, it's getting colder by the minute, and this guy would shut up. Yeah, I always think to myself, like, the only time I would talk to my neighbours is if I'm a bad neighbour. So if I'm being noisy, I'd assume my neighbour would try and catch me when I'm leaving. So if they haven't tried to talk to me, then they don't know I'm even here. You know what I mean? I'm a good neighbour. Yeah. I'm not too noisy. I don't do this. I don't do that. So there's no reason for them to talk to me. But then I think that's, in a way, I think that's unfortunate that you don't have that sort of neighbour experience that, you know, your granddad and that sort of had with their neighbours.
Yeah. I don't know whether that's a generational thing, as you said, because, like, my mum is quite close with neighbours on either side.
My mum is too.
Where I think as the younger generations, our generation are coming up, we're more standoffish because of the way the world's been since we've been around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. My mum goes to like barbecues. I ring her sometimes. She's like, "Oh, I'm just at so and so's." I'm like, "Who's that?" She's like, "Oh, 2 doors down." I'm like, "Oh, and
Yeah.
why are you there? What are you doing? Fucking barbecue." So
I'd be like, I was speaking to so and so the other day. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
yeah. I always love the fact that they were like, "Oh, I was talking to Sandra." I'm like, "Who's Sandra?" "You know Sandra." "I don't know Sandra." "No, you know Sandra." I'm like, "Mum,
Yeah,
you can say her name as many times you want. I don't know who that is." You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it paints a picture. No. Yeah, it's a hard one to balance, and I think to myself, I think the best thing you can do to keep the peace is, you know, I said have the conversation, but just erase it. You got to go somewhere, and you know, cut it short without being rude.
100%.
Yeah, because if you are rude, then you're gonna have a nightmare neighbour. It's as easy as that.
I don't see the point in being rude to people for no reason. If they're being nice to you, unless they've done something to really piss you off, what's the point in being rude?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people just don't like you said, you come home from work, you just want to get in your house.
Yeah.
But then, you know, they don't know what day you've had. They don't know if you've had a bad or a good day or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Very
you know
true.
what I mean? Giving them a couple minutes and then just saying, "Oh, you know, I've had a long day at work. Just going to go in and have like a shower or something like that." You know, they'd be more than happy to be like, "Okay, no problem. I'll see you soon."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's one thing I've got lucky here in this house that I'm living now is the neighbours are like brilliant. Like I feel as though if something was to happen to my house and we weren't here, there would be some way that they'd find a way to contact us or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I never had that in the flat before. In the flat, it was like very much all young people didn't want to speak to each other. Everyone avoided each other. Like, I remember watching this guy on the floor above me. He used to leave his flat at the same time as me too, because he used to finish at 2 the same time I did, and he wanted to walk his dog at the same time I did. And I'd hear him open his flat up and stand in the hallway with his dog while I went down the stairs first.
Fucking hell.
I'd be like, he's an odd cunt. He is an odd cunt. That's what I'd think every day.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
And then I'd walk certain roads and he'd go certain roads the other way. I was thinking, you're a fucking weird bloke.
Yeah, I can't handle shit like that.
Yeah, it was the same guy that I told you during lockdown. He was doing workouts at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Fucking lunatic.
But we hope you sort it out, and you know, have a little conversation. Might do you some good. But keep it short. Keep it short. If she or he turns into a nightmare neighbour, please email back. We always love a good bad neighbour story. So this one says, "Morning, two men, all hope." Oh, that's a new one. You are two brilliant testaments of what a 2023 guy should be. So keep it up, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty
Two
good.
men all hope. I love it.
Yeah, we had someone that said that they would listen to our episodes and it's like there's more hope than we put across. It's like, well, the name of the story is about us being losers, but I've been sleeping casually with a guy for about 6 or 7 months now, and it's been a lot of fun and helped me get over my ex. But as things do, my feelings have progressed now and I'm starting to like him. How can I go about letting him know that I'm interested in more without seeming overbearing? I enjoy the content, boys, and wish you both all the happiness the world can bring. Heart. I like emails
Is
like
this
that.
the woman from our first question? Have we got the male and the female version of the same question?
No, because the first
Casually
question...
sleeping together for 6 months.
Oh, shit. You say that.
I suppose they won't know it's
He
anonymous.
just says, I've been sleeping on and off with a girl from work. He doesn't say how long it's been.
Ah, right. I just assumed 6 months.
You gave me the fear then. I'm like, fucking hell. I'm like, they're both listening. He or she's told the other person about the podcast and they fucking emailed in.
Oh, mate, could you imagine that? Well, we'll soon find out.
Yeah. But then it makes you laugh because this is what we were saying about, like, you know, sex always leads to something. There's always something there between someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It always ends up you catching the feelings.
Yeah. Especially for that long as well, because you get into a habit of seeing each other and then you're like, oh, there's no point finding anyone else to sleep with because I've got someone I'm sleeping with. And then you get into routine and that's what brings on those feelings.
It's almost like, do you know Bridesmaids?
Yeah.
Beginning of the Bridesmaids, where that guy's clearly
Not
in interest for the
interested.
sex.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to prove that she wants to do and stay over a night and all this stuff.
And he's
But
just
then it ends up
fobbing her
being
off.
the wrong relationship for her anyway. So
Yeah. I think you saying to him it's progressed into more isn't overbearing. I think if you like threw yourself at him and was like, let's make this happen, like I'm want your babies, that's overbearing.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but if you went out for a meal and stuff like that and you were like, you know, oh, we've been seeing each other 6-7 months and I know it was just sex and that, but you know, I would like more. That's just you expressing how you feel. That's not.
Yeah, the last thing I think you should do is say, "What are we?" and put the ball in his
Oh,
court.
I hate that. I hate that.
That's happened to me so many times, and I've just gone, "Okay."
Yeah, because you're forcing him to say what's going on.
Yeah.
You're not expressing, like, that's you making him show his weakness before you showed any.
Yeah.
I don't like
I think
that. Yeah.
you should go ahead and, as Dan said, like put it forward how you're feeling, that you're catching the feels, and then let him then react to it the way he would naturally react to it. Because if you say, "What are we?" he might think, "Oh, my sex is going to stop.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you whatever you want to hear."
Yeah. But then
Where
as
if you
well,
go in 2 foot deep and fucking go for it.
you've got to come to the, conclusion that if he doesn't feel that same way, it will stop. Which is why we've said before in previous emails that this is one of the hardest questions you have to go through when it's like just sex. Because you have to come to terms with, if you aren't getting the answer that you want, there's no going back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you've got to think about it that way.
Yeah, because if he says, "Oh, I think probably we should probably cut it out then because I'm not I don't really want a relationship now, you can't then go, oh, I was only joking. I just wanted to see what you were going to say. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And,
Yeah.
It's never be the same.
And then you might end up resenting him in the long term.
Yeah, because he's
Wow.
obviously going to want to go out and party or do whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, well, why isn't he here with me?
Yeah, and you end up getting more hurt over it, where if you were to end it where it's going to end naturally, then you'll be a lot better off, I think.
But I think as well, if that happened and you backtracked, he would then try and push himself away, which would hurt more than anything else, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just handle it tactfully. If you're feeling like this way as well, don't hold it off, because it's just end up going to be like tormenting you. Because we've said before, guys are very fucking stupid in this sort of sense. So he probably doesn't even realise, unless obviously he feels the same way, which we hope he does. But he's just going to be carrying on, happy that, you guys are hanging out and doing what you're doing. So
he could think that you're more into it than you are.
Yeah.
Like, he could think that you're actually in a relationship at this point. That happened with me and Charlotte. I was convinced that we were properly dating, and for like 2 or 3 months before I actually mentioned it to Charlotte.
You were telling everyone, and she's like, what's going on? Oh, you're going out with Jamie? Then she's like, no.
I remember saying, oh, it's a certain... I think it was like, oh, we've been together a few months now. She was like, what do you mean we've been together? I was like, you've been sleeping with other people? She was like, no. I was like, well, then we're together.
Just stamp it right there. But yeah, so you could be in different situations, but the quicker you get it sorted, the quicker you'll sort of know what's going on, and you can make those life decisions. 6 and 7 months is a long time. If he isn't thinking you're in a relationship, you know what I mean? It's a bit weird.
Like, it's a long time to be casually having sex with someone, I feel as though, like, casual sex normally lasts about a month or two.
Yeah, before it starts getting weird and...
Like, what are we conversations come up.
Yeah. So that's a long time.
A long time.
So hey, it'd be funny, just like that situation where she's like, oh, oh, I've got feelings for you and stuff like that. And he was like, well, we've been dating for 6-7 months. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I've been telling everyone you're my girlfriend. Why? What did you think was going on?
Yeah. Because sometimes that's what happens. Like, people don't do the old fashioned thing of like actually asking someone.
Yeah.
They just let it roll into it. If you know what I mean.
So many times I've just gone with it. You know what I mean, saying to someone, I don't think that my first few girlfriends, I never said, do you want to go out with me? It was just assumed.
I think as I got older, I stopped doing it because, like, I found that part of it so awkward that I would just, like, a lot of the time they asked me. Because they'd be like, what are we? And I'd be like, you're my girlfriend.
Oh, I just hate it. Even saying it. Like, just stand in front of a mirror and say to yourself, what are we? And it just makes your skin crawl.
When I think of that line, I always think, what are we, ... And now I'd get that like a text at like midnight when I'm like trying to get up to work the next morning.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I'd be like looking at it thinking, this is going to be 7 paragraphs worth of shit coming. So,
yeah, if I don't answer
am I staying up or am I...
That's why I love being able to get your message and looking at it without opening it up so they don't know. So it's like, I was fucking asleep. I was asleep so many times with those messages. And I'll wake up in the morning when they're asleep, going to work. I'll be like, oh, sorry, fell asleep. Just fucking off to work.
Avoidance tactics.
Oh, fucking hate that question. You know what I mean? But that comes from like insecurity, right? Like, you don't want to put yourself out there in case you get rejected, so you put it on someone else to start that conversation.
Yeah, and what annoyed me with it was, like, I didn't want to be the overbearing person. Almost the same as this listener. I don't want to be the overbearing person, so I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket without knowing that they want it as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Otherwise, you end up. That is the worst line, because obviously most of the time I would have wanted to be with the girl or whatever, but that sometimes would be like, oh my god, she's being weird about things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
That what are we almost makes it sound like you want them to propose to you or something.
Yeah.
Like they want this big romantic gesture of like you being in love with them.
Do you know who I blame for that, Dan? Love Island.
What? Why? Love Island? What?
Love Island is to blame for all girls having this like because on Love Island they do this huge like art. They like put rose petals about and all this shit, and then they'll be like, "I want you to be my girlfriend in rose petals," or like get the people down at the bottom, like the other housemates, to like spell it out with their bodies.
For fuck's sake!
When you get shit like that on TV, that's what people's perceptions of what you're
Supposed to do.
and then people growing up thinking that's normal.
Fuck that. Not even a fucking chance.
It's not normal, guys. It's not fucking normal.
No. I'm sorry, Sabina. That will never happen.
Well, Sabina must know now.
Oh yeah. She's pretty good with my brain, so I pretty know she knows that won't happen. If anything, I'll probably forget that it's happened, and all my mates are standing down there waiting, and I've gone somewhere else.
I'll be shouting, Dan!
You'll be texting me going, "Where are you?" And I'll be like, "I've gone home." What? We're standing there waiting. I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah. 1 second, I'll go get her."
I'd be so frustrated with you. I could feel the frustration already.
I get there, and Jamie just spelled out Argus for me. Right. So last email. So it says, "Hi, gentlemen. I'd like to congratulate you both on a year plus of recordings. Yeah, it's going quite good. I'm enjoying it still so far. YouTube I hate over the passion, but everything else is good. I'm currently in a new relationship and it's going well. I just have a small gripe and it's quite silly in the grand scheme of things. I'm not a massive fan of PDA, which I had to Google, but I sort of knew what it was. Public displays
Personal-
of affection.
Yeah, that's it. I think we talked about it before.
We have, yeah. But I really like this girl, and she really does a lot of affection out in public, as she is naturally very a touchy person. But it makes me super awkward. How would you guys redeem this? I know you hate it because I replied in the email and said that Jamie hates it. Does Charlotte hate it?
When she's sober.
But when she's drunk, she wants to be all
When
over.
she's drunk, both of us can get quite kissy in front of people and stuff like that. I don't mind holding hands. But me and Charlotte, we can like kiss each other and stuff when we've had a few drinks and stuff. But anything more than that, I think like I've been at parties when like a girl was straddling a boy next to me on the fucking sofa.
Yeah.
And they're like fully going for it, and they're almost dry humping next to me, and it's like that is the worst display of any affection of any person's life ever. Like you shouldn't be doing shit like that in public. Do you know what I mean? There's a
That's when
locked
you're young,
bathroom
though.
upstairs. Go upstairs and fucking do whatever you want to do. Dirty bastards. But no, I just don't. I don't like kissing
In public.
in public. Yeah, let's alliterate that. I don't like kissing in public. I don't mind it too much if it's myself when I've had a drink. But even if I'm drunk,
You
and
don't
I
mind
see
if you had a
other
drink and
people
you're kissing
kissing,
yourself.
Well, I would kiss myself any day, Dan. I would kiss myself any day. Look at my face, of course I would. But no, even if I'm drunk, other people kissing is really cringy to me. I just find it really off-putting. If I'm in like a small contained area with them and they're kissing, I'm just like, what am I doing here? Am I looking? Am I not looking? Am I going over there? What do I do? I leave?
I've had all types of people because I'm quite easily to get. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not a pushover. I'm just
Easily
quite.
led.
Yeah, like if the other person likes it, then I'll do it. It doesn't really fucking bother me. I'd much rather
What about
not.
your personal opinion on it, though?
I'm not 100%. It depends on the situation, right? And like Sabina's quite good because she likes to kiss and stuff like that, but not like snog or anything like that. But it's
No,
like,
I don't mind the peck.
yeah. So like, I'll hold hands and and like put my arm around her and stuff like that, and then
Mm.
she'll look at me and she'll want like a quick kiss, and I'm like, I'm quite happy to do that because that's what she wants.
Yeah.
It's not uncomfortable. Yeah, people that I've had girlfriends that want to fucking snog in front of like my mates.
Yeah, and I just find it weird.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not doing
And
that.
that's what I mean by not liking it. I think like the pecks and the kiss on the cheeks, or like the hugging and holding hands and shit. That I think that's like all perfectly natural.
I think it's a way to show your partner that you're happy to be with them in public. I think
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. I think that's why I'm happy to do it, because I'm not ashamed to be with like Sabine. I'm using
No, of
Sabina because I'm
course.
with her. I'm not
Mm.
ashamed to be with her, and I'm quite happy to show her that affection in front of people. But yeah, if she was like sticking her tongue out and stuff, I'll be like, "What are you doing?"
Then there's been a few times where I've been with girls and they're like full blown wanting to do that. And I remember
Yeah.
being at a New Year's Eve party and there was like 8 of us in the room and I didn't know anyone but the girl. So I've come as the boyfriend to this New Year's Eve party. And not even a boyfriend, I was just seeing her. And I managed to get her some fucking alcohol because we were under 18. And she was like laying on my lap with her head on my lap and then kept trying to kiss me constantly. And I'm like trying to get along with these random other boys, which I was very like gangster rap fucking grime UK hip hop type of kid, and then these were like grungy fucking metalheads.
Fucking hell.
So there's already that barrier of like I'm not their type of person at all, and then she's constantly trying to kiss me because she was like proper emo-y type girl,
Yeah.
and she was probably trying to kiss me, and I was like, bruv, just like, can you stop for a fucking minute and just let me fucking be normal in this room, and then we'll go upstairs or something. But no.
Yeah, no, I think you have to set boundaries. I think everyone's got their own tolerances. And that's the thing, right? Like we always say about communication is key. And when you first with someone, you're sort of trying you over let them get away with things because you want to be that nice person, nothing bothers you and stuff like that. But eventually you have to say, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm happy to do this extent, but when we're in public, I'm not.
Yeah, that's where the whole thing, honeymoon period comes from, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
You're almost treading on eggshells at the beginning because you don't want to upset the apple cart, but at the same time, you need to have that boundary set. Like, if depends how weird you are. If you're that weirded out about like just holding hands, then maybe it's something you need to address in yourself, because I don't think that's a big enough PDA problem. But like, if it's something like full blown, like fucking snogging, French kissing, going for it,
Hanging off your neck and
yeah, like giving you fucking love bites in the middle of a fucking bar, then some people are really into that. But you have to be really into that with a person that's really into that.
yeah, fuck that.
And just expect people to not come near you because that is awkward for everyone else.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if you want to be in a relationship with someone, it takes work. All this stuff on like social media where it's like they don't communicate and then it's like we should break up with them and stuff. It's like, no, relationships, they don't just happen. You have to work at them. If you don't get along and stuff like that, you have to talk it out. People just think that, you meet someone and that's it. They've got this idea like the perfect partner means that you don't have to communicate. They just know.
Yeah.
And that's not the way life is. You know what I mean? So the best thing to do from the beginning is to be open. And that's what you need to do. You just need to say to her without being rude, this isn't what I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable with this, and this. But after that, I'd rather you not do it.
Yeah.
And that just shows the maturity in your relationship.
Yeah, and you definitely need that. Like, earlier on when I said I blamed Love Island for that boyfriend thing, you could almost blame media and reality shows for people thinking that you could just do that
Yeah.
as well, and people get a false perception of what it is at the beginning of a relationship. And as you said, like, working on the relationship is what you need to do. Like, when you go into like a reality show and stuff, they just like, oh, my perfect boy is this, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
and then they just go with someone that fits that glove. That glove fits type of situation. But that's not real life. It's not fucking real life.
No.
Imagine me. Well, you knew me before I met Charlotte. I was like a completely fucking different person. Like, you have to not completely change your personality, but you become the person in that couple.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
I'm
both.
domesticated compared to what I was like. I used to fuck off for like 3-4 days, and no one knew where I was.
But that's the thing, when you meet someone that you want to do those things for, it's not it doesn't feel like a bad thing. Like, you're quite happy to change little things. It's when they want to be you to be a completely different person, it's like, well, then obviously you don't like that person.
Yeah, then you're changing your core self for them, which is what you need to do.
I saw a TikTok of this guy who was analysing this woman's video. So she is a divorce attorney.
Yeah.
And this guy goes, before I show you this video, remember this woman doesn't get paid unless there are people getting divorced. And then he goes to the video and she goes, there's lots of reasons for you to get divorced. And she goes, lack of communication. And he goes, you don't get divorced for lack of communication. You start communicating. That's not a reason to get divorced. And she's like, not picking up clothes and looking after each other. And he's like, that's, again, a conversation to be had. That's not a divorce decision. And she's just basically giving people an out, saying that it's acceptable to pick up on these little things and divorce your partner.
That's why it's a lot easier nowadays for people to get divorced, because people are seeing what should be expected, and instead of like communicating, how many people have we told to communicate on this podcast? Probably hundreds by now.
Yeah.
And it's all down to that, and like a lot of people don't, and I don't.
I struggle with it as well. I struggle all the time because it's hard.
It's a natural thing to keep things to yourself.
Yeah, and it's showing like a vulnerability when you open up. I choose my moments. Like, I do it easier. Like, I had to speak to Sabine the other day, and I waited till I was driving because I knew I couldn't look at her. Because I get really awkward when I look in their face.
You tactfully pick the situation.
Yeah, and she's like, I thought you were going to say something when you were driving, because I'm concentrating on something else, which means I feel less awkward.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot, I don't know, I'm assuming she does as well, but I feel a lot better after the conversation was done. Like, we cleared the air a little bit. But it had to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, people, like when you feel awkward and stuff like that, it's completely acceptable. It's one of the, like, being in a relationship, you don't want to upset each other, so it is one of the hardest things to do, is communicate, but it is the best thing.
Yeah, it's never comfortable.
No.
Until you get to know each other to a point where you've been together years and years and years, it's never comfortable.
No. But you'll have a better relationship for it, and it makes you feel lighter.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're constantly, when you're with them, you're constantly worried. And like this listener here, when they go out, I'm sure he's probably like, what's she going to do next? Is she going to grab me? Is she want me to do this? And you're not enjoying yourself then. You're just constantly worrying about it. But then you haven't done anything about it, so she doesn't know.
Yeah, and some people are just naturally touchy-feely as well. And if you're not that type of person, then it takes a lot of getting used to. And if she knows to give, like, not give a soft touch, but like give a bit of leeway that way, that might let her set back, not stand, get back a bit, but like make her think about, oh, he might not like that.
Yeah, and you'll enjoy yourself going out in public a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get it sorted and let us know how it goes. I'm sure it'll go fine. I'm sure. I'm almost 100% sure she's not going to fucking freak out.
No.
You know what I mean? And if she does, then we already know what happens there.
If she does, it's her problem then.
Yeah. You said your piece. But that's all we've got for this episode. And all I want to know, Jamie, is How convincing was I as a priest at the beginning? Like, could I start a cult?
You could easily start a cult, Dan. To be honest, I was nearly. I was looking at how many wives I could have, and how many of them that you were going to sleep with.
I'm gonna continue writing my book for when we're famous. I tell you, I just got to think.
The only
of
part I didn't like is that I was the heathen, but at the same time, I did like it, which is a little bit controversial.
I had 3 things that I was going to mention, but I completely bottled it when I was looking at you. So I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't remember what they were. Being smaller. I think one of them was using code. I was making a reference to your basketball when you were talking about basketball.
Oh, right.
I was going to say something like he uses code to make himself feel special.
That's fucking brilliant.
But then I thought that was too vague because if I said sports, but yeah, but yeah, no, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good intro. Good intro. Am I upset that I stopped it last week? I don't know, because last week's intro was still brilliant when I played it back.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, yeah.
I'm glad I still heard it anyway.
Got to try and think of something for next week now.
Come on like a rabbi next week.
Fucking hell. Shalom. Aye.
Yeah,
Oh,
so if you made it
gefilte
this
fish.
far, if you made it this far, you know this isn't a Christian podcast. But yeah, I think this has been a good one. I think we give some good advice. I think we've had a few laughs through this one as well. I've had a few comments this past week about how busy me and Dan are. Do not let that hold you guys back, because we are looking for any emails that come in. It doesn't matter whether it's just like a sentence or whether you give us fucking, well, Dan won't say this, but whether we get 10 pages worth of writing there.
Oh no, I'm getting pretty good with my reading out.
Definitely are.
Yeah, I'm getting better
Definitely
each
are.
week, so I'm feeling a bit easy about the longer emails now. Yeah, no, we always say I always respond. It may not be straight away, but I respond to every email, and every email will get its time on the episode. You might have to wait a couple of weeks, but you will be in the show.
Yeah, and yeah, that's something that was said this week to me as well. Is obviously we record ahead of time, so there's always going to be emails that come up. If you sent an email that week, you're not going to be in that week's episode. You're going to be in a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear to everyone.
I do put in the episode though. When I email back, I tell you, what episode you will be in.
Yeah.
So you always know what's going on before everyone else.
Yeah. So go ahead and do it, and if you want to do it, it's twomennohope@gmail.com. Send in any content ideas, any feedback, any questions, conspiracies, news stories for Dan, anything. We're happy to take it all.
I have found a book on Greek gods, which I think I'm pretty much. It's hard to nail down, but I'm pretty sure I found the one I want. So we will be doing like Hercules and Zeus and that after I finish with Thor.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Yeah. But until next week. Well, until Monday.
Yep.
Until Monday.
I'll see you Monday, Dan.
See you later, man.